Good evening. My name is Marisol Garcia, and I am a junior here at Haltom High School, and I am a member of Student Council. Student Council is a program designed to create young ambassadors that shape and inspire those who look upon them. The students chosen to participate in Student Council demonstrate active leadership skills such as commitment, integrity, innovation, empathy, creativity, and bravery. With these skills, we are known as leaders of the school and set an example for the remainder of the student body. We provide means for Student Council expression and assistance with school affairs and activities, creating an ever-changing paradigm of student involvement. We, not only as a group, but as individuals, try to influence, enhance, and improve our community and those neighboring us. Student Council has made an impact on our local community by participating in the following events. Christmas Providers, where we had adopted a Haltom family and provided Christmas gifts during the holidays and granted joy to the children that may not receive something special on Christmas. We are also donors and providers by hosting blood drives twice a year and charity work. We gather donations for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, along with the Susan J. Komen Foundation and Prostate Cancer Foundation. We also gave recognition to our beloved veterans by selling items such as flags to raise money for the memorial down near Haltom Road Park. As Student Council, we feel appreciative to have the opportunity to participate in these projects to further engage with our community and host this forum tonight. A simple reminder is that early voting is April 22nd through the 30th, and voting day is Saturday, May 4th, which will be held at Haltom City Northeast Center.
Welcome, citizens of Haltom City. My name is Cassie Dominguez, president of Haltom High School Student Council. Haltom High School Student Council is a nonpartisan organization, and we are privileged to have the opportunity to host this forum this evening. All candidates were invited to attend, but joining us this evening are the following candidates. For Mayor, An Troung. For Place 1, Marian Hillard. She will be leaving early for a prior commitment, but is joining us because she wanted to meet the students and citizens of Haltom City. Place 2, Walter Groh. Place 5, Susan Soule and Kyle Smith. In place 7th, Gaye Vanzant. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement. Papers and pens are available for the audience to ask questions. Simply write them on a piece of paper, raise your hand, and a student council member will pick it up for you. A student council member's way. Cool. Your question can be addressed to one candidate or all candidates. The candidates will have 90 seconds to answer each question. Our timekeepers are Nicole Servong and Trin Hill. The yellow card signifies 30 seconds left. The red card signifies 10 seconds remaining. Candidates, we will now begin with your 2-minute opening statements. We will begin to start with the candidate for mayor.
My name is An Troung. I originate from Vietnam. I was born during the war in Vietnam. I went to US 1970 for pilot training. I graduated from US Air Force. I'm former fighter pilot. I got shot down in Vietnam a couple times, hit the bullet every day, and I'm still surviving. I come to America. I live in Pennsylvania with I call new parent, colonel in Special Force. The reason I moved to Texas because I don't like snow. By the way, when I come down here, I told my wife, honey, this is an opportunity for us. We not come here for economic reason. We come here because they force us to brought back the aircraft for the U.S. And I'm pleased did that for the country. When I come here, I can hardly to communicate with the police department, but there is many problems in Asian community because the language barrier. So they asked me to join police force, and I tried very hard. I make it 1987 with Fort Worth PD. During that time, many people laugh at me. They look at me just like alien from Mars, because language barrier, cultural barrier. I tried to went back to school. I go back to school, and I first class at TCJC. Later on, I got my bachelor in business administration. I got my master in business administration, and After that, I finished my doctor in business administration. And right now, okay, I have 10 minutes. That's why I feel like I'm qualified to be a next mayor, because business administration degree. Thank you very much.
Place 1, Marian Hillard.
Hi, thank you. I'm happy to be here tonight. I'm sorry I have to leave early, but have another obligation. I grew up pretty much in Haltom City and moved from school to school and house to house, and mostly in the southern part of Haltom City. So this is home, and I remember all of the things that, you know, we had the skating rink, the swimming pool, and the movies, and all of the different things that it was good to come back home to see some of those things. My husband and I, who was also a Haltom City resident for many years, after we married and we moved around, we moved out to the country, then I got a job that moved me all over, different places. But every Christmas, except the one he was in the hospital, we were home for Christmas. And that was really important to us to always come home. During my career, I was able to get my bachelor's degree in management, in business administration management. And I thank God for my employer for giving me that opportunity. When we got back home, I really had not been involved in government at all, had no idea. And I went to the police academy one time to take that class. And during that class, I met a council person. And after that class was over, he said to me, "You need to join. You need to run for council." And I said, "I don't like politicians, and I don't trust politicians, and I don't like politics." And he said, "That's exactly why you need to be here." So here I am. This will be my second run. I served 4 years ago, and now I'm going to try it again. Thank you.
For place 2, Walter Groh.
I want to thank the Haltom City Student Council for putting this on, and hopefully this will be an annual event. My name is Walter Groh. I've been a resident in the Haltom City area since 1980. I was born in Fort Rucker, Alabama. My parents divorced, moved to a small town called Nyack, New York, outside of New York, about 40 miles out of the city. My mother passed away, moved down here to North Richland Hills. Haltom City was the creek right behind my house, so I graduated class of '84 in Haltom. After graduation, went into the Army, stationed in Savannah, Georgia, did some time in Honduras. It was back in the '80s, good times. And then left the Army, worked for the Bass family in their security department, and then went through a police academy and went back in the Army to go to the first Gulf War, got stuck in Germany, and then came back and then became a Haltom City police officer, where I was an officer for 7 years, 2 years on patrol, 5 years in investigations, and then 6 years on the SWAT team. And then had an opportunity to go to Microsoft. Oh, let me back up a little. While a detective, I earned my bachelor's degree at Northwood University. So working full-time, going to school full-time. Then had an opportunity to go to Microsoft, where I got to fulfill my full geekness and work there supporting a new piece of software, and been on council. Well, let me move forward now. Was elected council 4 years ago. The things that I ran on is fiscal responsibility, economic development, changing the perception of Haltom City, and this year I've added another one, ethical and accountable government. So I want to thank everybody, and thank you.
For place 5, Susan Soule.
Hi. I also want to thank the high school student council for putting this on. It's really nice of you guys to do that for us. I am, of course, Susan Soule. My husband is Kent Soule. My father was in the Air Force, so we traveled around a bit. I was born at Carswell Air Force Base in Fort Worth. I have lived in Mississippi, the Panama Canal Zone, and while he was in the service. And since I've been back in the States, I graduated from North Garland High School. I have a Bachelor of Science in Management degree, which I got while I was employed with the government, federal government. I worked for 34 years for the federal government. I retired in 2013 as a GS-13 Quality Assurance Supervisor for Defense Contract Management Agency, which is an agency under Department of Defense. While I was employed with DCMA, I deployed to the Middle East twice. I volunteered to deploy twice, and once in 2005 and once in 2007, to ensure the quality of the base services for our deployed soldiers over there. Once I retired, I volunteered also to be a court-appointed special advocate for abused and neglected children. It's called a CASA. Had a sibling group of 4 children from 2015 to 2017, and they were all adopted into good homes. I'm excited to be running for City Council. I also am not politically involved at all and never have been, so this is a new experience for me, and I'm excited about it. Thank you.
For place 5, Kyle Smith.
Howdy, y'all. My name is Kyle Smith. I have currently resided in Haltom City since 2003. I graduated originally from Illinois, Central Illinois, farm boy. Dad was a Master Sergeant, United States Marine Corps, retired. Went to the University of Chicago. Got my BA in Religious Studies with an emphasis on ancient biblical history. And I can speak Arabic and Hebrew, so if anybody needs anything ever translated, please let me know. Was ordained in the Fellowship of Christian Assemblies as an ordained Pentecostal minister. Moved to Texas because my grandfather's from Bastrop, and I used to spend my summers here. And it was always my first love was this state. Well, I went, intended to go to SMU, but I met a Haltom girl, and never made it back to Illinois, and I'm glad for it. My wife's a computer teacher in Saginaw Eagle Mountain ISD. My daughter is 9, Emma Grace. She goes to school with her mama and comes home with her mama. Currently, I'm a chief inspector for the city of Arlington, Texas. Done $115 million in capital improvement projects and just finished up the new ballpark, my portion of it, in the city of Arlington. I've also worked for the city of Colleyville and the Trinity River Authority, also in geotechnical engineering. I love this town. I've made my home in this town. As everybody says here, I'm not a politician. I'm a regular guy who's getting out of the bleachers and trying to make a difference. And I hope we can answer some questions here for y'all tonight. So that's it.
For place 7, Gaye Vanzant.
I know you were scared to say that, but you did it good. I just want to say that I'm really happy to be here tonight. I think the main things you need to know about me are this. I believe in integrity. That's really important to me. I believe that we need facts and we need truth to make decisions that are going to last. And the second thing that's really important to me is financially that we are solvent. I've been a bookkeeper. I started in the 3rd grade licking stamps on a business for my dad on envelopes. I went on to, in high school in the state, win competitions in accounting. I went to college, and after my first year of college, I got my MRS degree. And when I got the MRS degree, I went to work for the college as a bookkeeper at the age of 19. And I did all the payroll for the university and actually incorporated them into the computer system. No, I'm not old, I'm just vintage. And the other thing you need to know about me is I want what I do today to make a difference for children that are in elementary school right now. because I think that while I can't accomplish all my dreams and hopes, I can plant seeds, and I want to tell you, I believe that seeds can work their way through dirt and darkness to produce life. And it may take it 2 or 3 years, but I think there's enough smart people in this city that if we listen to one another and if we had integrity, that we can come together, and between us, we can be the city that other cities say, you need to do what Haltom's doing, instead of let's see what they're doing. So I just appreciate your vote. I appreciate you listening to me, but I really want the vote. I'm not going to lie. Thank you.
All right, for our first question, it's intended for all the candidates. What is your history and experience within the community, and how does that make you a good candidate? We will start off with Gaye Vanzant.
I'm usually last in the alphabet, so I want to thank you for that. I have lived in Haltom City for 27 years. My children went to school in Haltom. I was invested in this city because of my children. Not just because of our children, but because of my husband. We pastor a church here. And when we came here, our church was in complete disarray. I mean, physically, the building. So while we did some things to keep the roof that was leaking fixed, what we also did, our second year that we were here, we started giving out groceries, free groceries to the community. Then the third year we were here, we incorporated a Thanksgiving Day meal for the community that's free. We never received government funding. We have never actively put up a GoFundMe or anything like that. And for a church of less than 200, I want to tell you we're doing a good work, and I'm proud of those people. We also have a Christmas Day program where we invite people in to eat, and we give them a beautiful hot meal. The kids get a gift from Santa Claus, who graciously comes in on the fire truck. I know there was a 2-minute on this, so I'll hurry it up. But I want you to know that other than giving out groceries and clothes, I'm involved in the senior center whenever I can. And pretty much, if you call me and ask me to help you and it's in my power to do it, I'll do it. Because I think that's what humans ought to do for one another. Thank you.
All right. Well, besides living here, currently a member of the Zoning Board of Adjustments. Currently, before that, Planning and Zoning. Thanks to a sweet lady that found my application many years ago and took a chance on a kid that had some ideas. Like I said, coached softball last year, was going to coach this year, but kind of running for office tends to take a little bit more time, I think, than what people really realize as far as financially and time-wise. But I got a little 9-year-old, excuse me, that has been it's a joke, we call her my campaign manager, and I don't tend to get misty-eyed. She was the one that told me she could hear me talking and seeing the pain and divisiveness. And she said, "Daddy, why can't you do it?" This isn't to pull on your heartstrings. These are actual conversations I have with the 9-year-old. And because of her and my wife's family, who have lived in the Browning Heights area since the 50s, that's why I'm making a go with this. I want to help this community with every fiber of my being. And I guess that's the best answer I can give.
Yes, it's my turn. Well, I have lived in Haltom City since July of 2019. We bought our home. Actually, it's very near the high school. My involvement in the city was from trying to actually improve our immediate neighborhood. So I got involved with the city and trying to get things done along the parkway, and through that effort, I was nudged and encouraged to run for city council, probably because I am very hard-headed and I don't give up when something's important to me. So I even considered moving out of the city. I understand that our city is not fully staffed. So as I learned more about the city, I do love my home. Our home is, we bought it 19 years ago, and we love our home. And so I decided that, okay, instead of moving out of the city, I can't find a home that I like better than my home. I'm going to fix the city. So I am here to help beautify our city and make it all that it can be. Thank you.
7 years as a police officer in Haltom City. Volunteer wherever I can. Been involved mainly with the Burrville Independent School District, volunteering at the various schools where the kids go, and or if career day, showing up at career day even if I don't have my child there. But the different things. I'm a band dad, so I help with the band. I'm proud to say I'm the left speaker that I get to roll out into the field. We build the props, and so whatever the band has, council, I've been involved in council for 4 years. Beautification board is where I'm the liaison for, so I try to help Miss Blocker and the other members, Tony Holmes, and things that I could help, smooth out things for them. I try to be active, responsive to people's needs, listen to them, provide suggestions, and just be available. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think that when I first joined the City Council, I had a lot to learn. I was a babe in the woods, I can tell you. And I learned so much that it was just amazing, because when you talk about the budget and you relate it to your home budget, and it isn't anything like that at all, and how you prioritize things that are so important to the city, and where you get the money and how you finance that, because it's not like we've got all the money we need to do everything we need at one time. So how do you plan it, and how do you budget for it, and how do you finance it? Those are things that during my 4 years previously I learned a lot about, and I think that I can bring some of that knowledge to our newer members. And I have a vision for the city also. I think that, okay, I'm running out of time because I have a lot more to say. But anyway, I think that I can help with the progress of the city. We had started that direction when I left the council before, and it's now getting to the point where it's actually moving on, and I'm anxious to be a part of that. Thank you.
Okay. Why I run for the mayor? Because I told my wife, the piece of land we live right now with freedom, many bloodshed, many our ancestors, the founder, died for us. That's why I want to run for mayor, because the last 6 years at the council, our mission is not complete, because we have opposition doesn't want to move the city forward. Just an example, if you look at the city hall, Haltom City, look horrible, right? You want to bring investor here, you have to have better city hall. That's why I want to run for the mayor. And along with my people, I believe, friend, and have the same vision with me. That's why I believe, as the mayor, I can unite everybody in the council as one family, even they don't like me, or they have my opposition or my opponent or whatever. I can make friends with them easily. And I hope to join you on this Saturday. We have the biggest campaign, I promise with you. I opened the biggest campaign party in Haltom City history. Please join us if you support me, but not my enemy, okay? Thank you.
To clarify the previous question that we had asked the candidates and to feel if they had given you a valid answer was, what is your history and experience with the community that would make you a good candidate? We are now moving on to the second question.
The next question is, with our great Haltom City Student Council putting this forum on and inviting all candidates, why do you feel it is important to be here today? We will start with place 5, Kyle Smith.
Looking for that microphone. Well, because I was always taught to be polite, and if someone gave you an invitation, it's something to show up. So that's why. Thank you all for doing it. You know what? It doesn't matter. I have tried to answer as many questions as I can, going to people's houses and door to doors and on Facebook, on Messenger. My goodness, my phone sometimes on Messenger. And I've been told before that I was too young, I had no political seasoning, and I didn't know politics. Well, there's something wrong when that question's asked in this great country ours. When it's said that a kid, yeah, I'm 38, I'm sorry for that, but I think I've been pretty successful in my life, that in order to try and advance something, become more civilly and civically involved, you have to. Get out, speak the truth, and like I said, I may not be your candidate. I will respect you for that. But I refuse to sit back and not listen. And I will always listen and give everything I got. So, that's it.
For place 5, Susan Soule.
Will you repeat the question? No, I'm kidding. I showed up much like he did because I was invited, and I've never done anything like this before, and I thought, and a lot of people don't know me or know who I am. My children are grown. I have grandchildren, but they live in the Metroplex, but in other cities. So there's not really a lot of opportunity for me to get out and meet everyone, other than going to door, which I've done a little bit of that as well. So I thought this was a great opportunity for me to come and let you see who I am and learn a little bit about me. And again, thank you to the Student Council for putting this on. That was gracious of you guys to do that for us.
For place 2, Walter Groh.
I think it's important that any candidate be available for any forum that is, hosted and you're invited. It's the responsibility of the candidate to come and answer questions of the people that are going to hopefully vote for you, and please vote for me. But because there are not many opportunities like this. We're going to have this one. I've heard rumors that there might be another one, but I don't know where that's at. But you're invited, and it's your responsibility as a candidate to come and answer questions of citizens. So, thank you.
For place 1, Marian Hillard.
I think it's important to be here so that you can get an idea of what the citizens really want. I know that you're not going to tell us tonight what you want, but through your questions and through watching Facebook, I can begin to get a clearer picture of not just what I want, but what the citizens want and what's important to them. And even though I don't have an opponent, I welcome this chance to be here with you and to let you get to know me, so that when you feel like you need to contact somebody in the council, I'm here. There are many of us that are. We're all here, but I really would like that. And just to say that in my first campaigns, we did not have this opportunity to go to a forum. That wasn't an option for us then, or at least nobody thought about it. And so this is really a great thing to do, and thank you so much for doing it and having us here.
For Mayor An Troung.
I think very important. If you don't show up here, you disappoint that lady and young men out there. If you respect authority, senator or president, you have to respect these people the same. Because they set up a lot of time, they spend a lot of time here for us to answer the questions, so you know me or my friend more than, I bet you somebody never know me before, right? But I cannot see why you not be here. Please do not disrespect young people. They are the future of Haltom City. Thank you.
For place 7, Gaye Vanzant.
Well, I just want to seize every opportunity I can. If the opportunity comes, I want to take it, because I think that's the only way you're going to get to know me. And besides just reading something about me on a card, I think it's important that you see my face, that you hear my heart through what I'm saying, so that you understand that while I don't have all the answers, I'm unafraid to come and be asked questions, because what I don't know, I can learn. So I'm just grateful to have the opportunity, and I want you to know that this is important that you're here tonight too, and I thank you for coming.
Our third question being, park systems are a vital part of our city. What is your view on providing more funds for parks and recreational staff? Starting off with Susan Soule.
Well, if the staff that run the parks and recreation don't have enough funds to be fully staffed, we can't run the parks and recreation facilities the way we would like to run them. The initiatives that the city has begun in bringing new businesses and residents into our city should provide additional tax revenue that we can fully staff our city positions in those parks and recreation areas. That should help that. Thank you.
For place 2, Walter Grow.
It's necessary for us to fund our parks and recs, because those are the things that attract people into our city. You know, they're going to look at the police, make sure we have a safe city, we have fire protection, but the day-to-day activities, because really you don't want to have police and fire show up at your house, but you want to have a place to go walk your dog or play baseball, or the things that families will gravitate around. We are very fortunate that we have an excellent parks director. We just purchased the NEO parks, and we're going to rehab those and get those open and playing ball again, because they've been dormant for way too long. With the hotels that are ultimately going to be built along the 820 corridor, hopefully we'll have tournaments in those parks. And those teams that are going to be playing in those tournaments will be staying in the hotels in our city. So that's tax revenue that's coming to our city. People participating in our parks, highlighting how great the parks are, and hopefully we'll have, it just keeps feeding on itself and making Haltom the success that I know it is. We just have to tell people what it is. Thank you.
For place 1, Marian Hillard.
Thank you. This question works right into my vision of the city, because I think about, why are we just a pass-through city? What can we do to be more of a city that attracts the people who drive 121 and who drive 820 and Denton Highway? What would make them want to stop? And every time I had those thoughts, I was thinking, you know what? It has to do with our sports programs, our recreational, the parks, because we have wonderful opportunities for our students and adults in all kinds of organizational sports. We have a great rec center, and I've gone there myself for quite a while for weight training. Well, not necessarily weight, but but anyway, I do think that we have an opportunity, and Mr. Grow is right, with the new businesses that are finally going to be able to locate along 820. We have some around 121 as well. Our taxes and our property tax and our sales tax will increase, and that's going to help us be able to take care of our infrastructure, and that infrastructure includes the Parks and Rec Department.
For Mayor Dr. An Troung.
Unfortunately, Haltom City look like we have two separate cities. One up north, 820 seems like luxury place for wealthy people. South is a little bit too poor. The reason park and recreation is very important because we need to play for the children of the people live in apartment complex. They have no place to live. They don't have their own swimming pool. But if I got elected for the mayor, the main thing I want to focus the security on park. I want camera, and I want every park should have the restroom so the parents have the ease of mind to work and know this park is safe for my kid. That's very important for me. Thank you.
For place 7, Gaye Vanzant.
Well, I think that parks and recreation are important because I'm a grandmother and I have 7 grandkids and I want a place to take them for free. So after that, I do want it to be safe, and I will say that I believe that Little Fossil Park, for one, since I've been in this city, looks so much better, and it is such a nice place to go and invite people. And I do think that part of what we want to accomplish is not just that we're saying we're going to do something, but that we can enjoy what we're doing. So I think that parks and recreations are going to be a big part of that, because for some of us, just simply getting out is a joy. And to have a place where you can go with your friends and maybe have walks like you have at the Haltom Park, I think it's important for both the North and the South. So yes, I agree with that. Thank you.
For place 5, Kyle Smith.
Looking over my head where there's a microphone. You know, the thing is everybody says we encourage the business growth, the home growth, but with the home growth also comes what? Young families. And with young families like myself, we have children and then grandchildren and things like that. We need a place for people to be able to go and take their kids. I can say where my kid plays softball with the Haltom City Girls Softball Leagues, we've got some tremendous volunteers there, guys, and I think that's something that's really untapped. We got the Coffins, we got Troy Dunn, we've got people that have been involved in that. There is a great potential here to reach out into this community because there are people that want to volunteer and help out in those areas. And yes, we need more funding for parks and for rec, but there's also other untapped potential with good people that have good intentions that want to do good for kids. And I think if we tap that potential a little more, like somebody did for me a few years ago, took a chance on a kid, I think you can be surprised what you can achieve. So that's all I got.
Our next question. Do you have any ideas or suggestions to improve the community? We're going to start with place 2, Walter Grow.
I think getting together, volunteerism. 2 years ago, the mayor had an initiative that council members would write articles in the crossroads, and I guess it kind of petered out, but the article that I wrote was about volunteerism. You always hear it takes a village. Well, it does. It takes a community to volunteer for beautification board, the parks board. We have CCPD. So there are a number of boards that you can get involved in. As Kyle said, the sports, I know a lot of the sport organizations are looking for volunteers to be refs, coaches, and these things, these are volunteers, and that's how we move forward. And having this forum here, having all y'all here, this is a way that you're able to interact with the candidates, people that are potentially going to sit on city council and put things in place, because the things that we're dealing with today were put in place 10 years ago. We are just now coming to fruition on some of these things. And the things that we do now another council 10 years from now are going to be working with. So all I am is a shepherd. I'm just shepherding things that have been done before me and trying to make it the best. Thank you.
For place 1, Marian Hillard.
You stole my thunder. Everything he said is exactly the way I think about it too. It's important to get out in your community, to volunteer. I've served on the Charter Review. I'm on the Animal Advisory Board, and also the Planning and Zoning. And I've met so many wonderful people in this community, and it's just amazing. And each of them have different interests and different directions. And one of my personal mottos is seek first to understand, then to be understood. Because I believe if you seek first to understand, you'll know where the person you're talking to is coming from, how they got there, why they believe that. And if you're in agreement, then you come up with some kind of accomplishment with that. If you're not, then you have the ability to talk on a very civil way and compare and come up with a good solution. So I think my basic is seek first to understand and then to be understood.
For Mayor An Troung.
You know, doesn't matter how old you are, we always learn. When I first became council, my friend, my colleagues, I learned a lot from them. My term at council is over. I can continue to work for district attorney with good money. Why I have to retire? Because I want my mission finished. But my mission cannot accomplish without any board. Therefore, as the parent, you need to teach the kid how to volunteer for this, for that. If you don't volunteer for anything in the society, your heart getting smaller. I bet you, I came from a country very hard. For living, education, for everything. You're not allowed to say anything. That's why when I come to this country, I learn American culture, teach my kid. Help others if you can. Thank you.
For place 7, Gaye Vanzant.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Everybody's going to probably get tired of all my ideas because I have a lot of them. So I'm just going to hit this really quick and really hard so you can listen. And again, I recognize everything's not going to get done in a day, but if we don't put it out there, it'll never get done. So one thing I'd really love to see is South Haltom renewed. I would love to see a corridor with cute street, lights, and where we celebrate either our neon and 50s heritage or whether we move into the Art Deco that you see there. But we celebrate that, and I think the Haltom Theater was a real key in getting that around. Now, could we just build an amphitheater behind it? Could we get a Chick-fil-A? Could we get a Ross? Could we get a TJ Maxx? Can I get an amen from the sisters on the discount in the room? And then I do think that even beyond that, I would love to see up at 820, I would love to see an aquatic center where year-round we can train our high school students in something other than the basic sports so they can get, put the sign down, where they can get really good at something where they can get scholarships and something else. How about archery? How about we work hand in hand with our police and fire and we support each other so that we're working together with our city leaders, everybody understands, and we can move hand in glove, not just hand in hand.
For place 5, Kyle Smith.
I think I'd get this figured out by now, wouldn't you? Everybody sees me on my Facebook page. Hope you kids know who Winston Churchill is. Winston Churchill once said that courage is what it takes to stand up and talk. It takes even greater courage to sit down and listen. My thing is the platform I run on is I know capital improvement projects. And one thing I know that people want to start seeing are their water lines repaired, their streets repaired, their drainage repaired, and their sewer repaired. The good folks in this town have worked and struggled and tried to ensure that they can get that done to the best they can. Police and fire are intricate in this, but I want to encourage people the next time you run across somebody that's in public works, talk to them sometime. I've been doing this 15 years. You get dog cussed, you turned my water off. Well, you didn't pay your bill. Those folks are what we call the silent arm of public service. And we need to take care of them folks too, so that we can better equip them to take care of y'all. And I'm one of them. I'd like to see my road fixed. How do we move forward? I'm getting that. So that's one of the things I'm very strong about. So I guess that's the best answer I can give you.
For place 5, Susan Soule.
Beautification to the city is number one on my list, besides safety. I mean, those are both up there, but I would like to see some of the areas of Haltom City that have gotten run down. They were beautiful when it was originally set up, but they've gotten run down. And I'd like to look at some creative ways of getting that accomplished. I know once the city's fully staffed, that will help, but maybe in the meantime, we might even be able to get the high school to maybe adopt some projects in the city that you could get credit for and also help beautify our city. So that's kind of what my focus is. Thank you.
The next question. With all the new businesses coming in, how do you think and how long will it be before we start to see revenue from that? And what will we use the revenue for? And we're going to start for place 1, Marian Hillard.
Oh, that's kind of hard because you have to have a crystal ball to know that, but it takes quite a bit of time. In fact, the division that just came before council last week, housing division, as I understood it as they came through planning and zoning, it was going to take them about 5 years to get all of that done and get it on the ground. And the new addition here by the school, that actually took about 5 years before, from the time it started through the process until it finally really got started, and it's not even done yet. So I'm guessing that a lot of the things that we want to do may take anywhere from 3 to 5 years. And as Mr. Gross said, maybe the next councils are the ones that get to deal with the influx of revenue. I think that we're still going to see an increase in revenue as we work on our city and as we become more innovative and again, not just a pass-through city, that we will start seeing an increase in sales tax. In fact, if I remember correctly, at our last financial, sales tax was above what had been projected. So I think that there's going to be money that's available for us. I don't think it's going to be the cash flow that we'll expect when the new divisions go in, but it will happen for us within the next 3 to 5 years, is my guess.
For Mayor, Dr. An Troung.
I mean, this question exactly what I expect. The next council, we work together, move city forward. Who want to do business in the town that nowhere for the people come in and sit down, feel like this is luxury home or comfortable with. You walk into our city hall, just a bench there, a chair there, you sit right there. You want to bring a big investor in town, at least you have a good living room, you have a good vehicle to show off, say, hey, our city welcome wealthy people here. You don't want to deal with somebody on bicycle, right? And say, hey, bring the money, invest my town. I want my vision if facelift the Haltom City First one, City Hall. Second one will be police station, because the safety of citizens is important too. Thank you.
All right, for place 7, we have Gaye Vanzant.
Well, I don't know the exact amount of income, and I couldn't know the exact time when all these funds will start coming in. But what I can tell you is that immediately we're going to see construction workers bringing in income because they're going to be buying their gas here, they're going to be eating their meals here. Some of them are going to want to go ahead and move their families here if they're intending to be long-term and show their corporations what they're made of. So I think that immediately we could see some other revenue. You have to remember that in 2017, Haltom's population was 44,000. So in 2015, it was 42,000. So you can expect a jump. That's not only going to help us from revenue from those businesses, which again, I can't forecast that. But what I can tell you is I hope that it's used for is to also help us renovate some of the decay before it's beyond repair. I would also like to see us know that we can keep our property taxes held and use that other revenue how we need to use it and welcome it, because that's what's going to work for us. And the other thing I'd like to see that I really would hope is that when we're doing this, we recognize that we're going to need more police and more fire coverage for more people. So while the base is spread thin, my son is a fireman at Station 2 in Fort Worth. And I want to know that they're taken care of, so they want to come here. Thank you.
For place 5, Kyle Smith.
Typically in a city, 3 to 7 years for the new sales tax revenues to come in. I work in a city of almost 500,000 people in the city of Arlington. All our previous bond referendums, we've just finished up a $240 million road improvement bond referendum and just kicked in another 150, and that's all based on sales tax. That was not an increased taxation to the residents. But if you're at a certain level like you are right now and you're capped on where your sales tax can go by percentage, you have to give that time to mature in order to take that next layer of sales tax and put it towards what you guys want. Capital improvement projects. Like I said, I'm going to preach that. Capital improvement projects. You're on borrowed time. A lot of infrastructure that's in this ground. How many people live in a neighborhood, by raise of hands, that was built in the 60s or 70s right now? Okay. You know, just like a car, a 1977 Cadillac DeVille is not running the same in 2019 as it did back in 1977. It's the same thing with what's under the ground. And we have to start looking at this and quit kicking the can down the road. We have got to start looking at it hard. So that's typically 3 to 7 years. And then you can start earmarking that revenue for what you want it to go towards. So that's from my experience. So.
For place 5, Susan Soule.
I want to thank the rest of the candidates for answering that question, because I cannot answer that. I have no idea how long the initiatives that are in place are going to take for us to see the revenues come back from those. I agree with Gaye that the construction workers that are here, they are spending tax money here. They're spending money here, so it is bringing some tax revenue in right now. But as far as seeing the true benefits of the initiatives, I really can't answer anything more than what they've already stated. They're obviously more knowledgeable about how long that would take than I am. Thank you.
For place 2, Walter Groh.
That's going to take about 2 years to see any revenue. But what's going to happen is the council is going to have to make some decisions. They're going to look at what the property tax is. It might be an opportunity to lower the property tax, or they'll look at what capital projects need to be done. So it might be one of those things. The council has, what happens is as a budget's delivered, there's a thing called decision packages. And so then you have to look at, are we going to buy a fire truck? Are we going to buy a street sweeper? And you have to look at the different aspects. The street sweeper is important because we have the Texas Environmental, I just call them the Texas EPA, but Haltom City is under, we're looked at by the EPA, the Texas EPA, because we have big fossil and little fossil creeks that go through our city. So we have to maintain our streets to make sure material from the streets do not get into those creeks. So we're looked at that. So that's why we have to have the street sweepers. Fire protection is very important. We lost a fire truck several years ago. We had to replace it. So whenever you look at the revenues that are projected by the finance director, you just have to look at the different options. And then also the state of Texas is going to probably mandate that we only have a 2.5% increase in our property tax. So all these things have to be looked at and put into the equation to see what we do with the extra revenue. Thank you.
Again, before I move on to the next candidate for place 1, Marian Hillard again unfortunately had to leave us due to a prior commitment. But next we have is Dr. An Troung. According to the Tarrant Appraisal District, the Haltom City postland of the average property tax bill for Haltom residents increased 38.7% over 5 years. What's your plan to provide property tax relief?
Property tax relief, is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll start off with for mayor is Dr. An Troung.
You know, Haltom City, we have a lot of property that if the value below 50,000, right? We will not they pay zero tax. I believe so. Correct? Every property below 50,000 will pay no tax.
Everybody pays some tax unless
Some tax,
there's certain examples
Yes.
that you have to deal with.
This question is a little bit hard for me because we have so many people below poverty line, and a lot of property being behind the tax. And to cover that, I believe the Tarrant County or the property in Haltom City have to increase some tax to make up the loss to cover. And that's all I can know right now. You know, talking about Tarrant County tax, I have no knowledge much about that. Thank you.
For place 7th, we have Gaye Vanzant.
Thank you. Well, I think that supply and demand's going to work into this equation, because if we do get more people into Haltom, for more businesses, people want to be here in this area, the more people you have paying tax, the less it's going to go up. That just makes sense to me on a base level as a budgeter. The second thing I think that you need to realize is people over 65, you're not going to have an increase. Yours will stay the same. So don't let people use scare tactics on you, because that's going to stay the same. Another thing that I think is really important that we realize on this is that sometimes it's not just where we are with property tax, but you have the right to go to the appraisal district first and see what the estimated value on your home is. And if you disagree with that, you should start there. Because while I'm grateful that property values in Haltom are rising, believe me, I am, I'm also grateful that my husband's going to be 65 soon. And so I know that I'm going to stay in that. But I do think that we can get creative with businesses and other places to help us to join in, and not just because they're being taxed, but as a matter of pride. What if we just went to them and said, what could you do in this area? If we put your name on a building, what could you do to help? And I just think there's creative ways, and I'm willing to learn more. Thank you.
For place 5, we have Kyle Smith.
Gaye said it best. If you don't like it, go down to Tarrant County Appraisal District and raise 9 kinds of cane. And tell them, hey, I'm on a fixed budget. I know veterans have it, senior citizens have caps. Walter said it, that if we could possibly, with bigger tax base coming in for businesses and families, that maybe we could try and provide some relief. If I read it correctly, out of the, and I can be corrected on this, so bear with me here, I think it was like 64 cents went actually from the Tarrant County to the city, like $1.65 or something like that to BISD. Could be wrong, don't quote me on that. Relief is always there, but we got to continue to grow. Grow and grow. But grow 820, and also don't forget the original heart, like where I live. Browning Heights area, 377, the Burger Box area. Got a lot of empty businesses down there. A lot. Who else wants a new grocery store? Be nice. So I believe, continue it. And use the ideas, because there's a lot of ideas out there. And let's tap them. We have to. So.
For place 5, Susan Soule.
I'm going to go back to the initiatives that have already begun with the new housing additions that are coming in. Once that revenue starts coming in, that should provide our tax relief. We should not have to raise taxes once that revenue starts coming in. As far as getting creative about not raising taxes, I think the council could brainstorm on some additional ideas on how we might go about doing that. Thank you.
For place 2, Walter Grow.
Unfortunately, Texas is a victim of its success, and because of the new IRS tax laws, the wonderful people of California and New York cannot expense their taxes, and so that has made Texas a very attractive spot to move. So whenever you have an individual that can sell their house, 800 square foot house for $1 million, and migrate to Texas and buy a $3,000 house or 3,000 square foot house for $300,000 and have change to buy the house next door, that again, that's supply and demand. And so whenever you have a lot of influx of cash, it drives up the values of the property. Now, what the state of Texas has is we have the effective tax rate, which is the tax rate that will not generate any more revenue than the previous year's tax rate provided. So we could go down to that. That means that we'd have to look at other ways to cover the cost, because whatever asphalt costs Haltom City, it costs other cities. So it's a complex formula, but there are things that we could look at. It looks like this year's Texas legislature is going to have the maximum, or what the effective, or what's called the rollback rate. I haven't talked about that, to set it to 2.5%. So you cannot go over 2.5%. So that looks like that will be next year. Thank you. Very complex question.
Candidates will now have the opportunity to give a closing statement. They will be given 1 minute to rebuttal or express anything missed in opening statements. Again, yellow signifies 30 seconds left and a red card indicating 10 seconds left. You may not ask the candidates any further questions. We'll start off with place 7, Gaye Vanzant.
We have a little saying in our house, and we use this in our life, and it's don't look for fault, find solution. So if you're going to bring me a problem, tell me what your part is in that solution. Don't point a finger when 4 more are pointing back at you. So I do believe that we have to get involved. I did not want to run for city council because I thought I have enough to do. When it came right down to it, my heart is for these people, and I thought, how can I tell other people to get involved if I'm not willing to? So I just really hope that you're going to vote, that you're not just a group of people sitting in a room, and I hope that the youth in here are going to listen as well, because this is your future, and you want your parents to be voting for that future, and I hope they will. Thank you.
For place 5, we have Kyle Smith.
I think the great John F. Kennedy said it best: ask not what you can do for your country. Well, same thing with the city. This is tough, trying to get all these numbers and talk to people and get the ideas. And eventually what you try and do is you take that culmination of all those ideas, and you hope at that time, God willing, that you ask for the wisdom to make the correct decisions, as Solomon did in the Bible. And I quote that Bible because I live by it. Wisdom. Ultimately, tapping ideas, taking those ideas, asking the good Lord for the wisdom to make the correct decisions. Because when you're finally in that spot and you're faced with that information and that fire, what do you do? And that's ultimately what I swear and I promise. I will make the best educated decisions I can. And that's all I've got.
For place 5, Susan Soule.
Well, I hate to follow both of them. My background is in auditing and process control and process analysis, and I will be bringing that to the council if I'm elected. I think this would be, I am retired. I do have the time to put into this, to attend events, to do the analysis on the projects that come up, to determine what we're going to do. So I would like for you guys to vote for me, and I will look forward to seeing you at future events. Thank you.
For place 2, Walter Grow.
I just want to thank the student council for putting this forum on. I think it's been awesome. Also, I didn't use my time previously, so what I want to say is it was awesome when we played Richland this last year and seeing our side of the field packed and their side not, and then they all left early because they were losing. And so I want to see that again. And so next year, football season, come out and support the team, support the band, support all these awesome students. It's good. I'm just looking forward to next year. So thank you, and please vote for me.
For mayor, Dr. An Troung.
When you say you support Buffalo, why don't you wear this color?
Darth Vader.
By the way, I thank student council. Give me opportunity to talk to people here. Thank you for audience, and to say I appreciate what you have done for me, what you have been teaching me. My colleague, I learned from them, and I always have open door policy if I got elected for mayor. Then I would like to invite all of you, the people who support me, even your neighbor, come join us on the party this Saturday, 11 to 3 at the Haltom Theater. I ran the whole place. Will be big. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Please vote for me.
I would like to thank the audience and the candidates for coming out tonight and giving us our time. So a friendly reminder is that early voting is April 22nd through the 30th. You can vote anywhere in Tarrant County. And voting day is Saturday, May 4th, being held at Haltom City Northeast Center. I hope everyone has a great evening and safe travels.